Hi guys, today we're going to start off at Genesis 13. Abram was very rich in cattle, silver, and gold. He traveled on from Negeb to Bethel, to the site of the altar he had erected there at the first, and there he worshipped the Eternal. Lot, who accompanied Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents. Now the country could not support them both together. Their possessions were so large that they could not live side by side. A dispute had arose between the herdsmen of Abram and the herdsmen of Lot. The Canaanites and the Perizzites still lived in the country. So Abram said to Lot, "Let us have no dispute. You and I, my herdsmen and your herdsmen, we are kinsmen. The whole land lies before you, does it not? Pray separate. If you go to the left, I will go to the right, or if you go to the right, I will go to the left." Then Lot, looking around, noticed that the whole of the Jordan that basin was well watered in every direction. That was before the Eternal destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. It was like the Eternal's own park, like the land of Egypt on the way to Zoan. So Lot chose all of the Jordan basin. Lot went east, and they parted company. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived in the towns of the Jordan basin. Moved his tent up country towards Sodom. The men of Sodom were vicious; they sinned openly against the Eternal. After Lot had parted from him, the Eternal said to Abram, "Look abroad now from where you are, north, south, east, and west. The land you see, I will give it to you and all your descendants for all time. I, I will make I will make your descendants as numerous as the dust on the ground, so that if the dust on the ground could be counted, your descendants could be counted. Traverse the length and breadth of the land, for I give it to you." Then Abram moved his tent and went to live where Mamre's oaks at Hebron, where he built an altar to the Eternal. Now it was during the reign of Amraphel, king of Shinar, that Arioch, king of Elazar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and the title king of the Guti, joined them in attacking Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinam, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zobeim, and the king of Abela, that is Zoar, all of whom formed a league in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. For 12 years they had paid homage to Kedorlaomer. But when they rebelled on the 13th year, Kedorlaomer and his fellow kings came in the 14th year and routed the Titans at Ashtaroth Carneum, the Zuzim at Ham, and the Ebim on the plain of Kiriathaim, and the troglodytes, cave dwellers, and their high lands of Shiar, driving them as far as El Paran, which lies close to the desert. Then they turned back to En Mishpat, that is Kadesh, ravaging the country of the Amalekites and of the Amorites who inhabited Hazazon Tamar. Outmarched the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zobeim, and the king of Bela, that is Azor, to confront them in the valley of Siddim, facing the Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, title king of the Guti, funny name, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elazar, 4 kings against 5. The valley of Siddim was all petroleum wells, and when the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some people fell in, while the survivors fled to the hills. The 4 kings captured all the possessions and all the provisions of Sodom and Gomorrah and went away. They also carried off Lot, the son of Abram's kinsman, who lived in Sodom, and his possessions. Then one of the survivors went and told Abram that the Hebrew, who was lying beside the oaks of Mamre the Amorite, a kinsman of Eshcol and of Anar, who were allies of Abram. As soon as Abram heard that his kinsman had been taken prisoner, he called out his trusty followers, retainers born in his own household, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan, where dividing his forces by night, he routed the enemy and chased them as far as Hobah to the north of Damascus. He recovered all the possessions, also recovered his kinsman Lot with his possessions, besides the women and the people. On return from his defeat of Kedorlaomer and the other kings, he was met by the king of Sodom in the valley of Shavah, that is the king's valley. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and as high priest of God Most High, he blessed him, saying, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has put his foes into your hand." Abram gave him a tenth of all the spoil. But when the king of Sodom said to Abram, "Take the goods yourself, and let me have the prisoners," Abram answered the king of Sodom, "By this hand raised to the eternal God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, I swear I will not take a thread or a string of yours. I will not have you say that I made Abram rich. Nothing for me except what the troops have eaten. But let my comrades, let Anar, Ishkol, and Mamre have their share of the spoil." After this, the Eternal said to Abram in a vision, "Fear not, Abram, I will shield you. Rich your reward shall be." "O Lord Eternal," said Abram, "but what canst thou give me when I am going to die childless, and my heir is a Damascene Eleazar?" Question mark. And Abram said, "Thou hast not given me a child. Yon slave born in my house will be an heir to me." That then said the Eternal to him, "He shall not be an heir to you. A son of your own body shall be an heir to you." Then he took him outside and said, "Look up to the sky and number the stars if you can, adding, such shall be the number of your descendants." Abram believed the Eternal, who counted his trust as a real religion, and said to him, "I am the Eternal who brought you from the Chaldean Ur to give you possession of this land." "Lord Eternal," he said, "how can I be sure I possess it?" So he said to him, "Take a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old she-goat, and a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Taking all of these, he cut them in two, and put each piece opposite of the other. He did not cut the birds in two. When the birds of prey swooped on the carcasses, Abram drove them off. Then, as the sun was going down, a trance came over Abram. A great horror of darkness came over him, and the Eternal said to him, "Be sure of this, your descendants shall reside in a land that is not their own, and subjection to people who will treat them harshly. For 400 years, but I will punish the nation that held them in slavery, and then they shall get away with ample possessions. As for yourself, you shall join your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a ripe old age. In the 4th generation they shall come back here, for the guilt of the Amorites is not yet full." When the sun went down, when it turned dark, there was a smoking furnace and a blazing torch that passed between the pieces. That day the Eternal made a compact with Abram. "To your descendants," he said, I am given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great Euphrates River. Kenites, Kenizzites, Kedemites, Hittites, Perizzites, Titans, Amorites, Canaanites, Gashites, and Jebusites. Abram's wife Sarah had borne him no children, but as she had an Egyptian maid called Hagar, Sarah said to Abram, "See, the Eternal has kept me from having children. Do go in to my maid. Perhaps I may get a family by means of her." Abram obeyed Sarah. So after Abram had been living 10 years in the land of Canaan, his wife Sarah took her maid Hagar the Egyptian and gave her in marriage to Abram her husband. When he went into Hagar, she conceived, and as soon as she found out that she had conceived, she looked down on her upon her mistress. Said Sarah to Abram, "May this wrong I suffer fall on you. I put my maid into your arms, and as soon as she found out she had conceived, she looked down upon me. The Eternal will punish you and avenge me. Your maid is in your power," said Abram to Sarah. "Do what you like with her." Sarah treated her harshly, and she ran away. When the angel, notice the word in here, when the angel of the Eternal came upon her beside a spring in the desert at the spring of the road of Shur, he said to her, "Hagar, Sarah's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She answered, "I am running away from Sarah, my mistress." "Go back to your mistress," said the angel of the Eternal. "Submit to her." And the angel of the Eternal added, "I will multiply your descendants till their number cannot be counted, so many shall they be. You are with child," said the angel of the Eternal. "You shall bear a son and call him Ishmael." God here, for the Eternal has heard of your ill treatment. "He shall be a wild ass of a man, his hand against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, defying all his kinsmen." So she moaned to the Eternal who had spoken to her. "God seen, even here in the desert," she said to herself, "have I seen God and lived after my visions." Hence the well is called Beer Lahoi Roy, well of life and vision. It is between Kadesh and Bered. Hagar bore his son to Abram, and Abram called his son born of Hagar by the name of Ishmael. Abram was 86 when Hagar bore Ishmael to him. When Abram was 99, the Eternal appeared to Abram and said, "I am the God Almighty. I am God Almighty. Live ever mindful of my presence, and so be blameless. I will make my compact with you and multiply your descendants greatly. Abram fell on his face, and God continued, As for me, my compact is made with you, and you shall be the father of many a nation. No longer shall your name be Abram, but be Abraham, many father. For I am appointed to be the father of many a nation. I will make you mostly fruitful. I will make nations out of you, and kings shall spring from you, and I will ratify my compact for all time between me and yourself and your descendants from generation to generation, engaging to be a God to you and to your descendants after you. Also, I will give you and your descendants after you the land where you were residing, the whole of the land of Canaan, as a possession for all time, and I will be their God. God said to Abraham, As for you, you must keep my compact, you and your descendants after you from generation to generation. The compact which you are to keep, the compact between me and yourself and your descendants after you, is this: every male amongst you must be circumcised. You are to be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskin. That is to mark the compact between us. Every male among you, from generation to generation, to be circumcised when he is 8 days old, with every slave, whether born in your household or bought from any foreigner. He who is born in your household and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised. So shall my compact be cut in your flesh as a compact lasting for all time. Any uncircumcised male who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, he shall be outlawed from his kinsfolk. He has broken my compact. And God said to Abraham, As for your wife Sarah, you are not to call her Sarah, but Sarai, but Sarah, princess. I've been pronouncing this wrong the whole time. It's Sarai. Call her Sarah. You are not to call her Sarai, but Sarah, meaning princess. I will bless her and give you a son from her. I will bless her and make nations of her. Kings of people shall come from her. Abraham fell on his face. He laughed, saying to himself, Shall a man who is 100 become a father? Sarah is 90 now, and shall she become a mother? Then said Abraham to God, Oh, that Ishmael might be under thy care. But God said, Nay, Sarah your wife shall indeed bear you a son. You must call him Isaac, being laughter. And I will ratify my compact with him to be a compact for all time with his descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard what you say. I have a blessing for him. I will make him fruitful and multiply his race greatly. 12 princes shall be born of him, and I will make him a great nation. Nevertheless, I will ratify my compact with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you when the time comes around next year. Then God ceased talking to him, and leaving Abraham went up to heaven. That very day, Abraham took Ishmael his son and every male in his household, both the slaves born in the household and those bought with his money, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins, as God had told him. Abraham was 99 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Abraham circumcised in the flesh of the foreskin. That very day, Abraham was circumcised with Ishmael his son and the men of his household. The slaves born in his household and those bought from foreigners with his money were circumcised along with him. This concludes the reading for today. Thank you guys.